Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live in UFRL. And tonight is Tier 1 at Imola. Quite a small grid actually for tonight. Maybe some people not quite wanting to race at Imola, it seems. But, anyways, either way, we will get to the show. And I will just give a little indication it is raining in qualifying as well. So, a lot for the drivers to think about here. Will it be raining at all for the sprint or for the race? Is a question to ask, but we do not yet know, as drivers will be preparing to get out onto the track then. But in general, though, this is one of the more challenging tracks, really, in general. Come to think of it, 3 miles in total with the 19 turns, but you only have one long straight, and apart from that, several challenging corners, particularly sectors 1 into sector 2 are the most challenging. Some people might even get turn 18 wrong as well. Might go a little bit too wide. So, yeah, there's ultimate challenges around this track. There's no doubt about it. So we'll see how things go. And that is the grid for tonight. No Mercedes drivers, in fact, as neither of them were in the race, I'm afraid. But let's get to the show then. There was only one driver, two drivers actually, who have taken to the track. So we'll go straight to it then. And here we go. So it is Hazer, the first driver, but perhaps unsurprisingly, he does tend to be amongst the first to go out on track. Pesci out there as well, as is the Red Bull of Link's piece. Ironically, it's all of those who are in the top 3 in the championship who are occupying the top 3 spots right now. Yep, we'll send you an invite. Can you just confirm that you can hear everything okay? I will turn the game audio on now. There you go. Right, I have no idea who Tim Satter is. Let's go down though. Oh yeah, you won't show up on this. How do I do it? Right, if I keep going down, I'm hoping you show up. That's what I meant, by the way, if you were wondering why my list wasn't completed. I cannot go any further than this. I'm afraid I can't do it. I'm afraid I literally cannot send invites. Unfortunately. My list does not go any lower, and literally that's all that does. Can I do anything else? No, unfortunately not. I am afraid I cannot send invites to anyone lower than that last person on that list. You would have been on the second page. But sadly, EA is not giving me a second page on this screen. I'll maybe ask Mr. P if he can, as Ghost is out and Coffee is out. We've had a double elimination. And there you go, I did say there can be challenges on this track. And certainly on the breakthrough into Sector 2, we have lost a Red Bull and an Alpine. Whatever happened there, I do not know. But wild scenes already in qualifying. I mean, we've still got the sprint and the race to come. And they could not get through qualifying well enough. Hazer invalidated by the way his covered lap. Pesci just into Sector 2 now and certainly using that battery up. Let's see who else. Links. So the Red Bull of Link's piece is also just behind, so we're going to go back towards Pesci. Of course, purple through the sector. And let's see if Link's piece can go purple himself. It shows up as purple, so it could be neck and neck between this duo. Merc is in, thankfully. But yeah, at the moment it does look like it could be a real close one between Pesci and Link's piece. Let's see what they could do through Sector 3. Hazer starting another lap, of course, invalidated his previous run. And here comes the McLaren of Pesci over the line. And it will be a 22.2 to kickstart qualifying here for the McLaren, as Link's piece a 22.8 and settles for P2. Further down the field, then you've got Hazer, of course, on that lap, and he will be the next driver to cross the line. I do wonder if the rain is supposed to lighten up during qualifying, or if it could in fact get heavier. Still a few drivers, Mr. Poem and Tajani, but also Merck, who has just got back into the lobby. Lay are still in the pits. Bolt and Hybrid out on track as well. But don't forget, Coffee and Filthy Ghost, sadly, both will be starting at the very back of the grid. There are yellow flags at the moment just residing into Sector 2. but nothing major it seems. They're all running along nicely. But anyways, Hazer here out of the final corner here, out of turn 18 into a little section to turn 19. It's not really a turn, but there you go, they call it turn 19. 23-1 for Hazer, only manages P3. So he is off the pace at the moment. Judge Santi 22-9, and he goes P3 himself ahead of Hazer. And Destroyer Jack invalidating his run. Well, Pesci, is he going again? He invalidated his previous run, and he does go into the pit lane. Is Hazer going to go again, is the question. Just into Sector 2 now, but of course did not set the best of first runs for the AlphaTauri, with his teammate Rusted Bolt just about to cross the line to start his hot lap as well. So can Rusted Bolt put in a good lap? Both AlphaTauris on show this evening. And here comes Hybrid as well, just to start his lap in the Aston Martin, reserving up from Tier 2 tonight. Saw him on Sunday, I've got to say. He did have some decent pace up against the likes of Hazer and Mr. Poem at times. Anyways, Link's Peace then, and there's no improvement on that run, but again, he is now using ERS. He was not using it on the previous run, the Red Bull, but he's now just going into turn 2 as well, may I note. It's not turn 1, it's turn 2. Yeah, imagine that one. Right, Hazer across the line, 22.9. Again, only third fastest. He's only 4 thousandths faster than Judge Santi at the moment. Is Hazer. Mr. Poem is on track at the moment through into Sector 2 now. And he's pushing on. I do wonder if the rain is going to lighten up or not. It doesn't look too heavy. Okay, that view looks heavier than that view. But anyways, he's still going along. Rusted Bolt invalidating his run, but he's still got a full tank of battery to boot. So the AlphaTauri can certainly go again. And his red fuel light is not flashing either. There are yellow flags potentially for Hazer. Has he ran out? I was thinking maybe he ran out of fuel, but he does seem okay. Again, no red light for the fuel, so there's no issues with that. As Hybrid will come across the line, not using his battery on this run. I will note 28.4 for him. Of course, not a competitive time. What about the Red Bull of Link's Peace? Well, he goes into the pit lane. And then you have got the Aston Martin of Mr. Poem. Your reigning champion in Tier 1, of course. And across the line he goes, P6 at 23.3. But again, we have a sprint and then we've got the race. Good opportunity to snatch some points away from your rivals, that's for sure. Especially those who have not shown up. They will lose out. There's no doubt about it. With a sprint and the full race. I mean, what's the maximum points you can amass here? So you get 8 points for a sprint, 23 for a win. That's already 31. You get fast lap, that's 32. You get pole, or win the sprint, should I say, actually. No, it's not a sprint. It will be pole from quali. That'll be 33 points. They're up for grabs if somebody can get the ultimate in terms of winning absolutely everything here at Imola. 33 points are available to drivers tonight. As Merck goes 7th fastest, and Pesci still quite comfortably with the advantage here as Rusted Bolt again hasn't validated his run. The AlphaTauri just struggling to get some times in. Hazer still 4th fastest, but will start another lap. 9 minutes of qualifying remain here at Imola. And Hazer still only 4 fastest. I'm still expecting a bit more from the AlphaTauri, but he definitely has that pace to go quicker, no doubt about it. Destroyer Jack doing well up in P3 in the Alfa Romeo, with Link's Peace just ahead, but nobody is touching the McLaren of Pesci at the moment. He has an advantage of about 0.6 of a second over the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo in behind. Rusted Bolt also in Sector 2 at this moment in time, and we'll drop it back down towards Merck rather, just heading round a bend at turn 19 and starting his lap. And he now goes straight into turn 1, again that is a turn, and that is onto the run through into turn 2. I love how they don't consider that a turn, but there you go, into turn 2 now, and into 3, and Merck pushing on a lap, but there you go, Pesci goes even quicker. 21.475 from the McLaren, and he is absolutely flying. No mushrooms tonight for him, and he looks absolutely glorious so far. And let's see if Rusted Bolt is going to get a decent lap in here. 22.7, and there you go, Rusted Bolt does go second fastest. Perhaps the track is starting to improve here. And then again, Hazer may suggest otherwise. And again, he's down to P5 is Hazer. Judge Santi is on a lap. Mr. Poem in the pit. Hybrid going round again. And Link's Peace kick-starting his lap as well. But Mr. Poem has actually just gone out on track for an outlap. But yeah, problems at the moment it seems for Hazer. I mean, he's 1.5 seconds down on his title rival in the form of Pesci. Again, I know he can improve on his time. There's, there's no question marks over that. And his tyres are 4 laps old, as Merck goes second fastest himself at 22.3, and Judge Santi leads to the line, goes into the top 6, and a Tajani with his first time goes 9th fastest without using any battery at 24.482 for Tajani. Good effort from him. And let's see what Pesci is opting to do here. Again, he has a full tank of battery now, so he's clearly recovered that well. And again, the McLaren kickstarts a lap. And how about Russell Bolt? He reverts into the pit lane. Back down towards Hybrid. Mr. Poem is a little bit further back, a few corners adrift. And the Red Bull of Link's Peace also in between them. Now here comes a chance for Hybrid then. And he will come across the line. It will be a 23.9, and he goes 9th fastest himself. So the two Aston Martins, P8 and P9. And Mr. Poem will go for another run. Just under 6 minutes of qualifying remaining then. Tajani improving by almost 3/10 of a second. Tajani, again, not using any battery. So he's got something, has the Dutchman tonight, as Merck may also kickstart a lap, or is he going to go in the pits? He goes into the pits, maybe looking to attempt one final run at things here. And across the line, Mr. Poem starts his lap. And let's see, yep, Judge Santi goes into the pits. And here comes Tajani improving. And he remains 10th fastest, but he is now using his battery. So what can the Dutchman do? Currently in P10, Destroyer Jack across the line goes into the top 4. So 22.7 still. Nobody near the McLaren of Pesci. Is he that far clear of everybody this evening? Has he got his pace? Like, he didn't quite manage against LAS Jerem last time around. Of course, the Ferrari on the top step of the podium. Pesci got a time penalty in that one, however. But still, Pesci wasn't quite as quick as Jerem, it seems, in terms of natural race pace. Jerem done very well on those hard tyres in that first stint. He pulled well clear of the AlphaTauri of Hazer as well. So nobody at this moment in time, it seems, pushing on in Sector 3, although there is an Alpine now. Now will be Tajani, so let's actually go on with the Alpine. Only improving by 2.5 of a second, however, whilst using his battery. So he's not making any inroads, really, on those drivers in the top 7. Maybe around Mr. Poem, potentially. It depends. If he just claws some time back through Sector 3, he could be up in the top 7. But let's see what Tajani can do here. So 23.1 only manages 8th place. And now Mr. Poem not improving, but does start a lap. 4 minutes to go in qualifying then. Hazer only in the pits. Rusted Bolt. Still in P3. 22.7 for him. But everybody is a long way off the pace at Pesci. 3.5 minutes remaining. Merck second fastest at the moment and is on an outlap. Anybody pushing on? Rusted Bolt in Sector 1. You've got Tajani, of course, who just finished that lap. He's going to try and recover his battery, maybe get straight into the pit and do one final run. Mr. Poem seemingly running out of fuel, which could mean he could go only for this one lap and then he will go back into the pits. Still no clear indication of what the weather will be. I'm uncertain as to whether the rain will continue through the sprint and the race. We shall wait and see on that one, as Mr. Poem improving by about half a second through the Sector 2 split time, and Tajani also awaiting to lead to the line again. Whether he'll stay out or go into the pits, we shall see. But with 3 minutes to go, not even that, less than that now, if you're going to go to pits, you have to do it now. And Tajani is staying out on track. Let's go back then towards Mr. Poem. He is improving, but how much will he improve by? So 22.5 goes onto the second row, and he goes P3. So the Aston Martin is up there, but being jolted because Rusted Bolt now takes the place of P3. It's a 22.477. And don't forget, of course, drivers can now start to recover their battery for one final push lap as well. Pesci is coming out onto the track. A 21.4 is the time to beat so far. And again, nobody has come anywhere near that. So Mr. Poem is going to try and recover his battery, but does he have the fuel to get another lap in? The red light indicating that he may have a bit of a problem when it comes to that side of things. Next up, Link's Piece as well. The Red Bull taking it slowly, recovering his battery. 22.8 at the moment for Link's Piece. He did recover from a disappointment overall, I'd say, at the British Grand Prix last week with a strong race in the 100% tier at Austria, just missing out to Hazer in the end in that one. Tajani also will kickstart his lap hybrid into turn 2 and into turn 3 now. But we'll go back down towards Tajani and just see. Yep, he is going to start using his battery. We have just over 60 seconds of qualifying remaining. Everybody needs to get to the line. 4 drivers on their out lap. Every driver out on track now. Link's Piece remaining P6. Let's go towards Judge Santi then. He will start his lap. And the Haas driver currently 7th fastest down for Tauri, seemingly going a bit slowly there, Hazer, with Pesci directly behind him. And then the Aston Martin of Mr. Poem also trying to recover his battery again. He may have just run out of fuel, in fact. But the fact that he's full throttle indicates to me that he more than likely has, unfortunately, run out of fuel. So I think Mr. Poem will go back into the pit lane. And that will be his qualifying effectively over. Destroyer Jack also starting his lap. You've got about 15 seconds to get to the line now. If you haven't started the lap, you're done for. Except for Hybrid. I think Hybrid will be the final driver. But here we go. Hybrid getting a lap time in for the Aston Martin. 23.3. He remains 10th fastest. And that will be qualifying over, you would expect, for the Aston Martin. Merc. Oh, he's going into the pits. No improvement then from the Williams. And it's a 22.3. And that is his qualifying done. Further down we go towards Tajani. Brinkman, the Dutchman, remains 9th fastest. Again, no improvement. What about the Red Bull this time? It's Link's Piece. Currently only P6. Link's Piece goes onto the second row. P3, a 22.2 for him. Rusted Bolt invalidated, but a 22.0 currently on the front row. What about Judge Santi, the Haas driver, goes P6 himself at 22.5 ahead of Destroyer Jack. But now we've got some mighty drivers coming up, with the first of those being Hazer, the second being Pesci, your pole sitter. Destroyer Jack also yet to cross the line for his final run. Here comes Hazer, the AlphaTauri across the line. It's a 21.6. Goes second fastest as Pesci is invalidated his run. That could have been a chance there for Hazer to snatch it away from him. Destroyer Jack is not on a lap, it seems. And it will be Pesci who takes pole position. A big point that could be come the end of the season for the McLaren. And it will be Pesci and Hayes, your 2 title rivals, on the front row here ahead of a sprint at Imola. And there you go, Jack into the pits. And that is qualifying done and dusted. Pesci heads Hazer into turn 2, effectively. Rusted Boltlow will be joining his AlphaTauri teammate onto the second row now. Rusted Boltlow doing well in the top 3, with Link's Piece in the Red Bull, a contender in the top 4. Again, though, will be interesting what will happen for the sprint and the race itself. Are we due for any rain? That's a question, and we haven't yet had any confirmation either way. There you go. Quaddy done. Pesci from Hazer at the front of the field. Oh, what happened? What happened to Gianni? Was it anything to do with whatever happened between Coffee and Filthy Ghost, may I ask? Because I don't know what happened between those two. I was trying to send Merc an invite at the time. Unfortunately, I did miss out on that one, but yeah, it didn't look particularly great whatever happened, I'm sure. Either way, those are your full qualifying results, and Pesci, Hazer, Bolt and Lynx, that is your front two rows. Really good effort from those top two, just under 2/10 between them. But then there's a bit of a gap back, half a second to Bolt, 7/10 Lynx, 9/10 almost to Merc, 1 second to Mr. Power and Judge Santi, 1.3 to Destroyer Drac, 1.7 to Gianni, and then 1.8 to Hybrid. No time sets for Coffee or Filthy Ghost due to a collision earlier in qualifying. How they managed that, I do not know. But either way, they did, sadly, have a collision. Again, though, this will be quite an interesting one. Who will come away? I can also confirm it is dry for the race. So, it's nice to see that. But yeah, so a dry race it seems. And we'll see what can happen here in this race. Let's get that. There you go. Right. But yeah, anything can happen in this race. Absolutely anything. I was improving, ran out of fuel before the line. Oh, I see. So, Merc could have really been up there on the front. Well, you just missed out, I believe, on the front two rows. So again, maybe Merc could be one to watch as well. I mean, most of the drivers, in all fairness, could be up there come the end of the race. And obviously we got the sprint first, which does look dry. Whether or not we could be due for any rain at any point in the sprint seems unlikely. But again, no confirmation on what the weather will be for the race. Just a reminder, we will have a few minutes of a break. And then we can get into the thick of things here. Right, so I will be back in just a minute's time. Right, we are back then. And let's see what happens in the sprint, of course. Not certain, how many laps do they get in the sprint? Well, we'll find out. Normally it hovers around maybe 8, 9, 10 laps, that sort of mark. So, in fact, we shall see how many laps exactly. I'd like to think it will be around 8 or 9 laps, to be fair. Imola is it's not a particularly long circuit. I mean, the time it takes isn't particularly long, in all fairness. I mean, 3 miles seems around, I'd say around average, in all fairness. But anyways, they have been told to ready up, and there you go, I've got the ticker, so 10 seconds is on. And we will take you to the action. Here we go, so 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the flicker is off. And a big halt. And a big halt indeed. What on earth, a safety car? We got this glitch again. Oh, come on. EA, seriously? Are you joking me? 11 laps of a sprint. 11 laps, okay, it's a bit longer than I was actually expecting. But they've actually gifted us a safety car. I say gifted us. You know what I mean. I mean, really. EA, come on. How are we still getting these glitches? I thought they fixed this ages ago. I meant to have fixed the safety car glitch at the start. Yeah, clearly fixed it. Wow. That is shambolic. I can also confirm there was no collisions or anything. Nothing happened. It's just that the game has decided a safety car before the race even started. Absolutely pathetic stuff from, well, it's Codemasters really, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's Codemasters causing this. Anyways, I'm not certain. I haven't been told anything about whether or not we're restarting. I've been told that we are not restarting, so we will continue on this. And therefore it will be Pesci and Hayes are getting the run down into turn 2. For me personally, I think the safety car should be in this lap, but it obviously won't be. I think it'll be in on lap 3. And also, if you're at the back, do you think maybe to go for a different tyre, possibly? Those are your tyre options, so Lynx, Peace, Tajani, Coffee and Ghost have all opted for the soft tyres. I'll be honest, that is a risky strategy call because I tried this myself. I didn't do softs, I did hards. But I did this strategy call, what was it, a couple of weeks ago at Qatar for the sprint. I've done hard tyres for the sprint just to get rid of those hard tyres. However, the game did not give me the extra medium tyre for the race. So effectively, these medium tyre runners are using what tyre they're meant to be on. The soft tyres will lose a set of medium tyres for the race, I do believe. So no matter what, they're all going to get one less set of medium tyres. And anyone who's using softs now are going to get one less set of soft tyres as well. So, in reality, I figured out very, very swiftly now. If you've got a if you've got a sprint race, for the sprint you are better off using the medium tyres no matter what. Simply because they will get rid of the medium tyres and you will only be left with one set of mediums for the race. Which, okay, in a lot of cases might be okay, but the safety cars, the safety car at a perfect time for you, you might want the extra set of mediums. And I wanted that at Qatar, but I didn't get it at Qatar, so there you go. But the safety car will be in this lap, I'm pretty certain about that. It better be. There you go, confirmation, safety car is in this lap. And safety car being called out for absolutely no reason. Maybe it just didn't like the fact that there were white and black stripes on the race start. Who knows? It didn't like something. Maybe it didn't like it wasn't raining. You know? Codemasters, eh? Right. Let's see. Just take it nice and easy round here into turn 17 and 18. You don't want to speed up too much. You do want to be right behind the car in front, but you don't want to speed up too much. And we can go through the field, and as you can see, it's pretty nice and tidy. Here at Imola, no collisions. Down through turn 17 and 18, and here we go. Starting lap times, what a lap time there, 2 minute 2.001, fastest lap, but Hazer takes Pesci to turn 2. Brilliant from the AlphaTauri. Hazer leads, and off goes. Was that Link's piece? I think it was. Collision between himself and Bolt. Links was already, I believe, a little bit on the wider line, struggling to have the battle with Russ and Bolt, and it was always going to end in disappointment for the Red Bull there. I didn't get the best of views on it, so I can't really say either way on what opinions I have on it. But it did look like it was always going to be tricky for the Red Bull based on the run that he had. The fact that he was quite wide off the mark, meaning he was always going to get a narrow angle heading into turns 3 into turn 4. He was always going to get the narrow angle, and that has not benefited the Red Bull, and down to the back of the field he goes. Tajani takes Destroyer Drag, a little bit forceful between the pairing. Tajani goes, actually, whoa, lads, calm it down. Take a little relax, take a little chill, Bill. Go to the shop, get some Oreos or something. You know what I mean? Right. So Tajani heading Drac, heading Coffee as Hazer. Again, the fast lap at top 2, marching on between Hazer and Pesci. Pesci not going for the overtake on the AlphaTauri, but going for the overtake will be Destroyer Drac. And is he going to go through? He goes side by side with Tajani, but Tajani edges ahead, and the Alpine stays in P7. Coffee was looking for a move. Only a few corners to go here on the Alfa Romeo, but certainly would have had to go fully off track to make the move. And he could make an indication that Tajani arguably did go fully off track to complete the move, but I don't know what exactly had happened before that. I only saw that they were a little bit pushy with each other, it's fair to say. But I didn't see enough of it to have a real opinion on it. So therefore I will have to leave that to themselves or to the stewards or whatnot. It wouldn't be fair to have an opinion on it. Right, going to this battle now for P3. Russell Bolt and Merck with Mr. Poem directly in the office behind them as well. A little bit of a twinge there from the Williams, but he's still right in it as Destroyer Drac receives a 3-second penalty. Still no rain on the cards, it seems, and Filthy Ghost going at it, it seems, with Coffee. He was edging closer. Drac with a little bit wide, potential warning for him, and DRS has been enabled on lap 5. No DRS on this lap, however. Tajani fastest lap of 1:16.9, and he does look like he's got some pace in the Alpine, as he is proving here, looking at to move around the outside of the Haas, but doesn't go for it. Giansanti, again with a tricky line. And now, yellow flags. Destroyer Drac and Coffee are both around. And the Alfa Romeo rather, and the Alpine getting into some contact, it seems. I mean, I've got to say the Alpines and Destroyer Drac have certainly had some history tonight. It's fair to suggest. But Tajani now is all over the rear of Judge Santi for a place in the top 6. Coffee is ahead of Destroyer Drac. I do wonder if Drac may be letting the Alpine ahead. Again, question marks over that. There is a possibility he may have done. Either way, though, Coffee is now ahead of Destroyer Drac, and Destroyer Drac also has the time penalty, so we would have likely lost the place anyway if Coffee doesn't get one. Although Drac does seem to be struggling, he is falling further behind the Alpine. Could he have some potential wing damage? Going by the timings, it does seem fairly likely that there could be damage for Destroyer Drac. Let's go to the front of the field again for P1. Pesci takes the place of Hayes. A 10-second penalty for Destroyer Drac for corner cutting. But Pesci into the lead in the sprint, and Tajani also taking Judge Santi and the Dutchman into the top 6 now. Let's go back up the field towards the top 2. The title challengers this season. Pesci and Hayes, a Destroyer Drac with a 5-second penalty. I get the impression, I had a feeling what was happening, that he was going to retire in the pit lane. Destroyer Drac will start the race from the back of the grid. Still a chance for him to take some points though. Him and Coffee, Link's piece as well, it seems, will start quite far adrift. Probably, most likely, they'll both start at the back. But also take into account for Destroyer Drac, there was no real benefit of using a set of softs only in the sprint just to finish P12. Unless there's a safety car, there's no real benefit for Destroyer Drac using a set of softs. So for me, it makes perfect sense to retire in the pits and save a set of tyres. Anyway, sticking on with this one, Hazer's just dropped a little bit back, 0.6 of a second, but again, he will get DRS. Pesci fast lap of 1:16.5. The fast lap will not be getting a point here in the sprint. It is just a normal format. 8 points for the sprint. Winners down the entire darts. Hazer on Pesci and into the lead of the sprint now goes the AlphaTauri. But will the McLaren get the run he needs? He is all over the rear of the AlphaTauri. And there you go, through into sector 2 now, and the AlphaTauri of Hazer is edging out ahead of the McLaren of Pesci. And now retiring in the pits is Coffee. Of course, there would have been something that happened between himself, between himself and Destroyer Jack. Either way, let's stick on with this one then, because this is the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix, and see anybody take what they want, and that will be effectively a win in the sprint. This top two, certainly the ones going at it. Further behind, Russell Bolt was having a little look at Merck, but doesn't go for the move. Mr. Poem still in a good range, really, half a second behind, so that is a battle for P3. But this is the battle for P1, and we must stick with this one, because there will be, 4 laps remaining after this one, and it is Hazer and Pesci pushing to the line to come through as the sprint winner. Most likely the one leading into turn 2 out of these two will be the one to win, you think, as Pesci now makes the move on Hazer. And through goes Pesci. I do also wonder what their batteries are looking like. I'm not going to go for a little cheeky tail. I'm not going to have a look at them. We are going to hold off. But there you go. And it is looking neat and tidy. Through into the Variante Villeneuve they go. And now hovering in and around at turn number 7. And let's see how they will fare again, as Hazer still trying to close that gap towards the McLaren and will stay within the 2-3 tenths mark. Again, 3-second penalties could be costly, so you don't want to be getting a penalty. But this top two are marching away from the rest of the field. And you've still got Russell Bolt in there, chacking down Merck with Mr. Poem a few tenths further behind. But we're going to go back again to the top two. There are 2 battles at this moment in time. You could potentially see Santi back within a second of Tajani as well. Tajani's soft tyres may begin to fall off the cliff, and Ghost now receives a 3-second penalty. That gives Hybrid an opportunity on his medium tyres to get within 3 seconds of Filthy Ghost. But again, onto the straight, and now starting lap 9. And can Hazer get back into the lead of a sprint? Does he want to get back into the lead of a sprint? Well, the answer to that question does seem to be yes. And really, if we're factoring this in, Pesci's got to be a bit careful. Now, what does this is about a tactical battle between these two. Pesci may try and be smart and may not even go for the overtake on this lap. We shall see. Will Pesci stick in behind Hazer until we start lap 11? Or will Hazer not really want to fight it? I don't imagine any of them will want to fight it in terms of leading on lap 10, but they will want to lead by the time they kickstart. Well, they don't want to lead by the time they kickstart lap 11, that's for sure. If you've got that DRS on the driver ahead and you've got a full battery or a majority of your battery, yeah, I imagine also both drivers probably are not using their battery that much right now. So they're still going to be recovering their battery for the final lap shootout. Again, with these two battling for the title, every point is major, especially if you can gain a point on your rival and your rival loses a point to you. Well, that could be a big difference. Again, like when Pesci got pole. Let's see again what happens here. Also that battle win behind, but there you go. Pesci is far enough behind, so we'll go back towards Mercklen. As alongside Russell Bolt he goes. Mr. Poem was having a little look, but doesn't quite make the move. And up into the P3 goes Merck again, taking the place of the AlphaTauri. Both AlphaTauris are in the thick of things here, as Rusted Bolt close towards Merck. Mr. Poem still in there as well. Again, I do wonder how much battery do these drivers have if they want to get onto the podium in this sprint. And again, whatever happens in the sprint, will result in whatever happens for the race, because that will be the grid set for the race, and it's all down to the sprint results. So as again, this is big though, this is big. Lap 10 of 11, and we're going to be starting the final lap in just a sector's time. Hazer and Pesci is the car behind. He will be getting DRS. Filthy Ghost with another 3 seconds. He will definitely lose a place to Hybrid. Could still lose a place to Lynx. In all fairness to Ghost, he could be better off letting his teammate ahead ultimately at this stage of the race, letting Lynx P start a place higher. Anyways, here comes Pesci. Can Hazer defend? We're going to go on board with Pesci. It will be closer to turn 1. Pesci going for the outside line. Hazer down the inside into turn 2. Side by side to 2. Let's go. Pesci goes off track. Hazer stays ahead. Hazer leads into turns 3 and 4. And Hazer stays clear. Big defence then from the AlphaTauri to hold on to it. Into 5 and 6 and now into turn 7 beyond the Variante Villeneuve. And Hazer still leads here at Imola, but runs wide. It gives Pesci the chance he needs to draw alongside, but he doesn't quite make it. Having a look around the outside as well. Down the inside he will go, but he doesn't go for the move. A little bit off track goes to McLaren, but he has a great run. What a run from Pesci, but he has to hold out. The AlphaTauri stays clear. Pesci getting all the runs he needs now. And this is absolute drama. Chaotic stuff. Into turns 15 and 16 we go. And now, on the run down into 16, now, let's see if Pesci has one final attack on the AlphaTauri. Or is it all down to the AlphaTauri getting a win? Pesci will have a look around the outside. He will make a little bit of contact. And that should be game over. That should be it. Hazer will come away. Hazer will win the sprint here at Imola. He will take a big point. Oh, that was a little bit close at the end. But Pesci takes home P2. But Hazer gains a point on his championship rival. Russell Bolt takes P3. Poem P4. Merck loses the places. Both places. And drops to P5. Tajani comes home P6 from Judge Santi, who finishes P7. Hybrid takes a solid point, debuting, well not debuting, but driving and reserving up from Tier 2. It's a good effort there from the Aston Martin duo, both in the points, P4 and P8. But it is Hazer who takes the sprint win ahead of Pesci. And there you go, there are your points. And again, we do use those points, so 8 points will go to Hazer, 7 Pesci, 6 Bolt, 5 Poem, 4 Merck, 3 Tajani, 2 Santi, and 1 point will go to Hybrid. Ghost, Lynx, Coffee and Drac, they will all start at the back without gaining any points from the sprint. And as you can see, those are your full sprint results then. And once it goes onto the right screen, there you go. Hazer, Pesci, Bolt and Poem, that's your top 4 with Merck just behind. And now, we will have a 5-minute break. And then the race will kickstart. 32 laps of action in here at Imola. But congratulations to Hazer taking that big win for the AlphaTauri in the sprint. And now Hazer versus Pesci. Well, the race can resume in a few minutes' time. I'll be back. Right, and we are back then. And this will be significant. And the drivers are getting ready. And here we go. It's 4, it's 5 lights. And the lights are out, and it's go, 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 and at the front of the field with Hazer and Pesci, who will get a better start than they need. Going into turn 1, it's going to be close to turn 2 now, and Hazer stays ahead of Pesci. Is it clean going in behind? It does look relatively clean so far. Every driver gets through safely. So nothing too severe. It's the two Red Bulls trade paces, and that means Hybrid, Jack and Coffee all battling further back. But again, it does remain clear. And at the front of the field, Hazer and Pesci still lead. Bolt and Poem going at it further back. And Poem having a little look down the inside, going side by side now. As Bolt and Poem going at it. We'll have a little good on board here with Merck. As you can see, off track goes Bolt. I do wonder if that may have given him an illegal overtake. It doesn't seem like it. Oh, or has it? I'm not sure. Either way, a little bit of contact there between Poem and Bolt, but it does seem like Bolt has just edged ahead, but Mr. Poemlo is directly behind now, but these guys are 2 seconds back from the leaders. Tajani a little bit, oh, what's happening here? Judge Santi's off track, and Santi has lost a host of places to Lynx, Tajani, and goes to dropping potentially to P10, as Hybrid does not quite get the move on him here. But a lot of the action going down further down the field here, with again Hybrid having a bit of a poor exit. Drac goes through and Coffee having a little look on him as well. That could drop the Aston Martin to the back of the field. Let's see if Coffee has a little potential look here into turn 2. Overweight again, they are still relatively clear here. Nobody has had severe incidents. And we go back towards this one. Bolt, Poem and Merck. But Hazer, that's a good 1.3 second gap. Let's check on the tyre conditions. And there you go. That might be a real reason as to why Hazer has the lead. Hazer on soft tyres, as is Filthy Ghost in P8 in the Red Bull. Everybody else has opted for the medium tyres. Tajani losing out to Filthy Ghost as well. The Red Bull striving for success in Tier 2 and is making moves in Tier 1 as well. Up into P7 goes Filthy Ghost, but Tajani has the better exit, and that will draw the Alpine alongside. Not somewhere where you want to go alongside, and as you can see, Filthy Ghost does edge ahead of the Alpine. The Alpine certainly wise to the move. And further back, Destroyer Drac having a little look down the inside potentially of Judge Santi, but holds off, and he will remain in P10. Hazer and now Pesci getting the fastest lap. Pesci with 1:18.0, but again is 1.2 seconds behind the AlphaTauri, who heads the drivers into turn 2 once more. But that top 2 are well clear of the chasing pack now. As you can see, a fantastic start to the race for these two. But further back, they're all having to squabble. Filthy Ghost has got Tajani within a couple of attempts. Ghost not within DRS range of the drivers ahead in the form of Russell, Bolt, Poem, Merck and Lynx, who has made a fantastic start to this Grand Prix, having struggled, unfortunately, with some sort of incident, it seems, in the sprint. I say I see him, I'm pretty sure I did see something that happened. But either way, I remember what's happening here, and he has had a brilliant, stellar start here in the Red Bull at Imola. Let's also have a little drop towards Tajani once again, all over Filthy Ghost. Filthy Ghost trying to close that gap towards his teammate to ensure he gets DRS. And don't forget, DRS will be activated, and you will be able to enable DRS this lap as well. Whereas Pesci won't quite get that DRS. Pesci is still a decent distance behind at 1:17.9. Again, Pesci going quickest. Hybrid receiving a 3-second time penalty in the Aston Martin, and Poem makes a move on Russell Bolt, and into the top 3 he goes. Merck, does he stay in behind? Yes, he does. And he'll remain in P4. And it is Lynx piece. Tajani does take Filthy Ghost and goes up into the top 7. Ghost has got Judge Santi now directly behind him in a Haas Drac. Hybrid also half a second adrift of the Alfa Romeo, and Coffee within 0.3 of a second. So the grid is relatively close, except for the top 2 compared to the rest of the field. Sadly, Mr. Poem downwards are not quite there with the top two, Hazer and Pesci. But again, Hazer is on softs, Pesci on mediums, and Pesci beginning to close that gap. Is Hazer going for a one-stop or a two-stop strategy? Well, don't forget the pit lane around Imola is around, what, it's almost 30 seconds long. It is an extremely long pit lane here at Imola. And also take into account, it's not only is it extremely long, almost Filthy Ghost has had some form of incident, and the Red Bull, whether it was an incident or a spin, either way, he has now dropped down the field. And we'll go back towards this battle for the place on the podium then, as Russ, Bolt, Merck and Lynx are all in this one. Will Lynx go for a move on Merck? I think he may do. And the Red Bull goes down. He is under the Williams. They are side by side. There is contact between the pairing. And Merck has lost some of his front wing. Collision between Lynx Piece and Merck. And that will go to the stewards. It was all about whether or not the space was there. I mean, it's always dangerous going into turn one side by side. Lynx was the one who wanted to go side by side into turn two, in effect. And sadly, Merck has lost part of his front wing and will have to repair it. May have to go for a long stint on the hard tyres and hope for a safety car later in the race. And it's certainly not unlikely that a safety car would occur here. Again, a tricky track for the majority of drivers to navigate through, as Pesci now is a tenth of a second away from Hazer. Those mediums are starting to work better than the softs for Pesci already, by the way. Again, we're only on lap 5, starting lap 6, and Pesci's tyres may be working better than the AlphaTauri, but then again, these two may be happy. I mean, it sounds weird to say Pesci and Hazer may be happy to work together, but that is what they could be doing. And Pesci, as you can see, has made the move on the AlphaTauri. He makes a stick, and up into the lead he goes, but for how much longer? As Ross's Bolt loses out to Poem as well. Poem in the Aston Martin into the top 3. That spin also did lose Lynx Piece the place to Tajani. And into the pits goes Merck. And he will opt for the long stint on the hard tyres. May get a soft tyre stint later in the Grand Prix as well. Again though, he will be hoping for a safety car. Well, that could be the start of it. It's a virtual safety car, and you can see the debris, and you can see the damage. It's Hazer! Hazer's got damage! He's lost his entire front wing. It's a virtual safety car. It's either something has happened between himself and Pesci, or Hazer has just gone off by himself. Does Pesci have any damages himself, though? He looks absolutely fine in that McLaren. And Hazer would like to get into the pit lane by the time this virtual safety car is not over. The virtual safety car is still out onto the track, and there you go, Hazer is now in. That could mean the virtual safety car will end relatively quickly. But there you go. Is it... I mean, it's not race over for Hazer, but he has got a long way to go now to somehow threaten Pesci in this race. It is Pesci's race to lose. There is no doubt about that. The Mushroom Man may come up trumps here. Oh, drive-through penalties. Mr. Poem picks up a drive-through penalty. Were there any other ones? I thought for a moment, I thought there was another one. There wasn't, but it's a drive-through penalty for Mr. Poem in P3. My apologies there, just getting a little drink. A little bit tasty this restart, I've got to say. It's not really been boring. There's certainly been action going on. I mean, a lot of the overtakes typically are on the straight, which makes perfect sense. There have been the odd efforts of attempts of overtakes, and some of them being relatively successful as well, outside of a straight, but the majority will certainly come on the main straight. And well, sadly, you do get some moves into turn 2 which just don't quite work out for both drivers, as Filthy Ghost now receives a 3-second time penalty. I do remember, I think the last time I saw Filthy Ghost Reserve up here at Imola may have been season 3, and I've got to say he really struggled that race. And I know it's literally about a year ago now. maybe just under, when Filthy Ghost reserved here at this very track at Imola in Tier 1 from Tier 2, and he massively struggled, and yet the next day I'm pretty certain he was battling for the win, may have even won at Imola the next day. So, and that was obviously in Tier 2, but still very good pace. A little bit to Jardy, a bit of a tricky part of a track for him then, the Alpine in P4. But this is all down to what Pesci wants to do now. If he wants to go for a Sunday drive, he can go for a Sunday drive. If he wants to push for a fast lap, he can push for a fastest lap. It's all down to the McLaren. 5 seconds clear now. It wasn't like that. It's not been like that the entire race. If you're just tuning in now, it was a close battle between Pesci and Hazer. But Hazer sadly lost his front wing. It was either in a duel with the McLaren or he was just behind the McLaren. And sadly, he's had to go for another set of soft tyres. I'm not sure on that strategy call to go for a second set of softs. He may have gone for a long stint on hards, may have even gone for mediums. As Coffee takes the place of Hybrid and is up into the top 6 now. No time penalties for the Alpine. And the two Alpines actually looking pretty steady in P4 and P6. But yeah, Russell Bolt currently doing the job like he needs for AlphaTauri, but can he, I mean, it'll be quite a miracle you almost imagine, but can he help his teammate get a good position here? Yellow flags. Is it Filthy Ghost potentially? May have been yellow flags for Filthy Ghost. Certainly see some flat spots on his tyres as well. And yeah, he's not challenging Hazer. I think it's either damage or his tyres are overheated. Filthy Ghost certainly will not try to contest the AlphaTauri. And you get the impression it could be similar with Link's piece. The likes of Drac as well is also boxed alongside Link. So several drivers opting potentially for a 2-stop strategy or a very early pit stop. Mr. Poem is the next driver to come in. 8 laps on his mediums. It does look like it could be a 2-stop strategy here for drivers at this track, unless drivers like Pesci, Bolt, Tajani, Santi, Coffee, Hybrid try and stick with their potential 1-stops. But it does look like a 2-stop strategy is on the cards. But again, you will be losing almost a minute in total in the pit lane if you do opt for the 2-stop strategy without a safety car. So are these drivers banking on a safety car? Oh! Off goes Filthy Ghost. I mean, that's one way to let your teammate through. And through goes Destroyer Jack as well. I have no idea what has happened there. But either way, Filthy Ghost has gone straight on at turn 2. And that gives both the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo the place. And I've got to say, Filthy Ghost, well, the last time I saw him in Tier 1 reserving here at Imola, this does seem a little bit closer to that now. It's not quite as bad as that, but it seems a bit closer. Oh, he has a drive through. Is that why he did that, though? Oh, no, Mr. Poem, you meant. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, Mr. Poem had a drive through. Yep, you are correct on that one, mate. Yeah. 9 laps on his mediums, and he's got Hazer right behind him. I do not get the impression that Mr. Poem is going to be ahead of Hazer for much longer, sadly. But yeah, he did have a drive-through penalty. I don't know why I thought Ghost for a moment, but yeah, I remember now seeing Mr. Poem getting that drive-through. But anyway, here comes Hazer, and the AlphaTauri will swoop by on the Aston Martin with the battery. And there you go, the Aston Martin just has to drop in behind. Can't do too much up against a powerful DRS zone here at Imola. One of the most powerful DRS zones in a game. You could make a case. I think the 2 most powerful DRS zones are likely at Mexico and Baku, but this is going to be not quite as strong, but almost as strong as those tracks. So Imola, one of the strongest for DRS zones. And there you go, Hazer powers his way through and up into the top 7. Again, it's on fresher tyres after the damage he picked up earlier in the Grand Prix. Let's have a little look at the gap to the leader. Hazer 28.4 seconds away from Pesci. He will be gaining some time, obviously being on the soft tyres. But now, what is the target for Hazer? Is he thinking a podium? What is he thinking? Because Filthy Ghost now, again, he is really struggling. Let's hope this ain't his practice for a tier 2 race. Oh, that was a bit close, wasn't it? Close, too close for comfort, but either way, Filthy Ghost, yeah, not having the best of races. I mean, for me, he just sandbags at Imola. For me, this is the Ghost sandbagging, because he done this in season 3 at Imola, and then I'm pretty sure he won Imola in tier 2 the following night. So it would not shock me if that's Filthy Ghost's plan here. But as you can see, he's lost an end plate as well. It's still not as bad as what Filthy Ghost did in season 3 though. For me, Ghost was worse in season 3 when he reserved up in tier 1 here at Imola than what he's done tonight. But anyways, let's have a little look. Who is battling anyone? Looks like Link's Peace closing on Poem now. Wait, let's have a look. Hayes is 27-7. So he's still closing that gap to Pesci, not by a long distance, however. But Link's Peace 1 second behind Mr. Perlman. He will be the next driver to attempt an overtake, and he is closing in on the Aston Martin driver here as they head down into the chicane. Yeah, I don't get the impression either that Mr. Perlman will be able to contest this one. Surely not. Either way, on the exit of turn 17 into 18. And you do have a little bend here at turn 19, which makes it onto the straight. And again, the bend here is deemed as turn 1. And there you go, Link's Peace sails his car through. And Mr. Perm, again, unfortunately, due to the strength of DRS round here, can't defend it. And Link's Peace up into P8. He's still 3 seconds behind Hazer, however. Hazer on softs, Link's on the hards. Any potential battles that could be happening over the next couple of laps? Difficult to say really, but I've got to say one thing to note. Pesci's lead over Rusted Bolt has been dropping. I was going to say it's been hovering around 5 seconds, but he's lost about half a second now. Could he be thinking about a pit stop? No. Or that Rusted Bolt, he stays out as well. I do wonder as well at AlphaTauri, would Rusted Bolt give up a P2 to Hazer if it came to that situation later in the race? It wouldn't exactly shock me if Bolt let Hazer get the place, in all fairness. But anyways, Merck, 3 second penalty for the Williams, not his night to remember sadly. Haven't had that. Oh, there you go, I remember now what happened. It was an incident between himself and Link's Peace. Link's had a good start to the race though, but yeah, that incident between the pairing has certainly cost both them, but has definitely cost Merck much more. Both effectively did spin, but Merck also lost some of his wing and had to make repairs in the pit lane, and Merck also lost more places as a result. Oh, was that Ghost again? Yes, it was. And he's lost another end plate. Like Christian Horner, he's going to be getting mad at Filthy Ghost at this rate. That cost cap must be going through the roof. Ho ho ho. That's close. Filthy Ghost may single-handedly cost Red Bull in the cost cap. May cost them a fine. They might get a fine about £1,000 at Red Bull. I mean, this is how serious it is. It might even be, I don't know, might be £900, might be £1,000 to Red Bull. That's clearly a lot of money, Formula One seem to think. So, you know, this might be costly here from Filthy Ghost. Keep getting damages. Gonna cost that Red Bull team. Obviously, I am taking the absolute mick out of that cost cap, but you know, anyways. That cost cap was a little bit of a joke. you exceed the cost cap and you barely get anything for a fine. Crazy, hey. Anyways, back to it up the top lane with Coffee not really making any inroads. I mean, maybe next one is actually Destroyer Jack. He is starting to close up a little bit on Poem. Don't forget, Poem is now probably reluctantly trying the one stop. I do think he may be feeling like he's struggling a little bit up against these guys. Oh, was that Ghost again? Yep, it's Ghost again. That's a safety car. Lost his entire front wing. This is up there with Ghost's performance in Tier 1 3 seasons ago. There's no doubt about that now. He has been... I mean, what has happened to Ghost this race? Has he got 0-0 wings? Is that what it is? Whatever he has done here, I have no idea. But you guarantee one thing. When Tier 2 race here, Ghost is going to come out and win the race, isn't he? He's going to win. That's exactly what he did in Season 3. But anyways, Pesci has boxed and gone for hards, as has Bolt, as has Tajani, as has Santi. Oh, Link's piece has stayed out on 9-lap-old hards. And Filthy Ghost has retired in the pit lane. There's no real surprises about that one. Anyways, most drivers into the pits. Okay, interesting strategy calls there though. Hazer has gone for the set of mediums. Destroyer Jack has gone for softs. And Merc also into the pits. Let's see what tyre he goes for. Is it going to be mediums to the end? Or is it going to be another set of hards? It's mediums. But sadly for him, they are 5-lap old medium tyres. So in this moment in time, we're trying to have a figure out what's going to happen. I mean, Pesci is the odds-on favourite to win. I mean, it's very fair to say that. But after that, I mean, Bolt has certainly had some good pace here. Sadly for Mr. Perm, that drive-through penalty, Merc with that collision with Lynx. It's not been favourable for them, but they were up there with Bolt. Lynx pace now in P4, but sadly for him, he's on 9-lap-old hard tyres. He's the only one bar Merc who will certainly still need to pit. Himself and Merc will still need to box, you imagine. But Hazer is the one who's gone for the medium tyres. Jack also gone for softs. I don't think those soft tyres will last to the end, but maybe he just didn't have the tyres. Be interesting if Jack opted to pit on this lap, however. Same with Merc. Let's see what they do, or does Jack stay out? He stays out, okay. And what about Merc as well? Because does Merc want to get rid of his 5-lap-old mediums? It just depends what tyres you have available. If you have fresh hards, you might want to go for it, possibly. But Merc does actually decide to stay out. Then again, if you do box this lap... Oh, I saw a bit of a... Oh, what's happening here with Destroyer Jack? So I thought for a moment that his car was just disappearing and reappearing, but maybe not correct. Just seemed back in order. Thought it was glitching out for a moment, but it doesn't seem too bad right now. I saw a flick on my on the track map, and I just thought, oh, maybe the Alfa Romeo. What's happening there? Right, Merc is now catching up, and I do believe a safety car should be in this lap. And again, sadly for a couple of drivers, certainly Lynx and Merc, ironically two who had that collision at turn 2, they're the ones on the used tyres. Does Merc catch up to the back of this grid quickly enough? No. No was the answer to that, it seems. He's only taking his time about things, isn't he? Not sure on this strategy call, but Merc has certainly pretty much held up that run. Not sure if there's a reason exactly behind it, but he certainly could have got close to the back, and that could have been... The safety car really could have been going this lap. Does he take the time to pit this lap, however? Yes, he does. There you go. Bit of a strategy call, I believe, that from Merc. As does Destroyer Jack, meanwhile. Unless something happened between those two, but I didn't see anything. Destroyer Jack's gone for another set of soft tyres, as has Merc. So both Destroyer Jack and Merc have opted for fresh soft tyres. Well, this changes the complexion of things, does it not? And I can guarantee you the safety car will be in this lap because it never waits longer than 4 laps. It only has waited the 4th lap because Merc was not up behind the back of them. Yeah, similar happened in Tier 2 at Monza, where it stayed out for an extra lap as a result. There you go, now they're on fresh softs. Fresh softs for 14 laps. I've got to say, it's an incredibly long time to go for these soft compound tyres, and I'm not certain personally that's the right decision, but maybe it's what they feel was best. Maybe they didn't have another option. Maybe they didn't have fresh mediums. Sonny and Merck, I don't believe, had fresh mediums because he had 5 laps. And there you go. Safety car is in this lap, so they will have to rejoin the back of the grid no matter what. And now we can check on with the McLaren of Pesci, your championship leader, don't forget. And the gap between himself and Hazer, well, I must be certain it must be around 4 points, maybe 5 points, somewhere around that mark. Either way, it's incredibly close between them at the top, Pesci and Hazer. But Hazer down in P8 as a result of losing his front wing earlier in the race after qualifying and battling hard against Pesci, winning the sprint, don't forget, Hazer. And Pesci is off and running, but it's close further back between Bolt, Tajani and Lynx. Lynx has a great start on things, you know. Not going for the move, but one man making a move is Hazer. He takes the place of Hybrid. Hybrid giving in the place to Mr. Poem as well. So the duo go through, and Hybrid may try to hold back a soft tyre runners now. Hazer next one is Coffee in the Alpine. Hazer is back in this race, and he's back shooting sharp here, as the Alpine is going to have to try and defend against the AlphaTauri. This could be a battle to try and get back up onto the podium, maybe even second place. But here comes Hazer again, and going for the move. Into sector 2 he goes, down the inside goes the AlphaTauri. Has he got it? Off goes Coffee, and Hazer gets the place. Hazer into the top 6. He takes the Alpine, he screams through on him, and it's close from the upper field. Links Peter with an ever. Santi will go alongside. Hazer has a chance, but Hazer doesn't go through. And there you go, as you can see, Judge Santi takes the place, but what an exit from Hazer! Through goes Hazer on Link's pace, and up into the top 5 he marches through. Next up Santi, Link's will have another look at him, but he can't make it, and Hazer into the top 5 now. Next up is Judge Santi, and what a start from a safety car for the AlphaTauri driver. And into the pits goes Link's piece. Must have some damage for that car. But now you go, Hazer now making the move on Judge Santi. Will go for this one. They will go at it side by side. You've got to be careful to turn 2. And Hazer makes the move. Incredible again. He's into 4th place. Pesci will not be happy seeing that name in the top 4. But Hazer is in the top 4. Next up is Tajani. And then it's his own teammate, Russell Bolt, in second place. Hazer is on fire right now. He is marching through, diving through, and overtaking the field with absolute class. AlphaTauri next up is the Alpine. For a track that is typically and traditionally challenging to overtake on, Hazer is making it look easy. Absolutely amazing. I mean, one of those, I think the move on Lynx was particularly impressive, although Lynx must have picked up front wing damage. It's gone for fresh soft tyres now. Unless that is a strategical. It could be a strategical, in all fairness. So, meanwhile, Hybrid did lose the place to the soft tyre runners of Merc and Drac. No real surprises there. You would have expected the soft tyre runners to make the move on the Aston Martin. And indeed, they have completed it. We have now 12 laps remaining, DRS enabled. Fastest lap goes to Hazer, 17.1. Watch out for the AlphaTauri. He is flying. And here comes Merc now making the move. He will go for the move around the outside on Mr. Poem. And on those soft tyres, he goes up into the top 7. Don't forget again, he has a time penalty of, I believe, 3 seconds. We'll double check on that penalty. Yep, 3 seconds. 3 seconds also for the Aston Martin of Hybrid in P10. Nobody else has a time penalty in this Grand Prix. Obviously, if you exclude Filthy Ghost, that is. Filthy Ghost did certainly get a penalty. I say certainly, I'm pretty sure he got a penalty earlier in the race. I know he was certainly struggling. Guarantee that one. But we'll stick it out here with Merck now. All over the rear of Coffee, who is chasing down Judge Santi. Hazer not quite making inroads on Tajani, and Pesci has got the 1 second he needs on Rusted Bolt. I'm sure Bolt may try and use some battery to get into it, but he's not close enough to the McLaren. Tajani is close enough to the AlphaTauri to move up into second place. But either way, let's stick here with a battle. Actually, no, we might have to move up here. I am going to move up because Tajani will make this move on the AlphaTauri. A little bit close there to the wall, but the Alpine does make the move, and up into second place goes Tajani. And further back, Santi, Coffee and Merck. Here comes a chance for Merck, but stays in behind of the Alpine, and they all have to settle for their current positions. Would feel Merck on those soft tyres really needs to get these moves done, or else he will struggle. And Merck is opting for the wide line on Coffee. Let's see here if he can get the traction that he needs to make this move on the Alpine and then follow it up with an overtake on the Haas of Santi. But Merck just having to hang in there right now. Those soft tyres, don't forget, will struggle come the end of this Grand Prix, so that is why Merck needs to make these moves. If he can complete overtakes, he needs to do it within the next couple of laps. He needs to ideally take the place of both drivers, really. As watching the timings now, guess who's in DRS range? Hazer is in DRS range of Tajani and Rusted Bolt. 6 tenths behind. And again, it would not shock me if Bolt were to allow his teammate through and have a run at Tajani. Watch out for that one. Meanwhile, Bolt is having a look, but he doesn't go for it. Well, further down the field, they are going for it here side by side. And Merck takes Coffee with a brilliant move on the outside. Through goes the Williams, into the top 6 he goes, and the AlphaTauris do trade places. Hazer is onto the podium. Next contest will be Tajani. But Hazer is having a mouth-watering race after losing his front wing. Absolutely stonking stuff from him. And now for Merck, he has got Judge Santi for company up ahead, but he's about a second behind, and he will need to close that gap to the Haas driver. He's having a little look towards Mr. Poem and Destroyer Jack as well. Jack also on fresher tyres, soft tyres as well. Mr. Poem and Coffee both on the hards. Not been Red Bull's finest race, it's fair to suggest as well. But I am going to go up towards Hazer. I mean, what position was Hazer in before the safety car, well, when the safety car came out? I mean, he wasn't done and dusted, do not get me wrong, but he was well out of the podium running. But Hazer now is looking for a move, but cannot quite make it. Tajani out of battery. And watch this space. Hazer and Tajani. Hazer the better exit. Is he going to have a little lunch down the inside? He holds out. Tajani has to brake later. And Tajani stays ahead. Still low. Tajani has no battery. The gap between Pesci and Tajani, 2.6 seconds and growing. That means the AlphaTauri duo have to try and get through on the Alpine. Wouldn't surprise me here if both the AlphaTauris try and make the move into turn 2, in all fairness, especially when they will know that Tajani is struggling for that battery. And again, Hazer's battery is not too much better. Then again, it's not that much of a surprise knowing he's had to make several overtakes here. And this one may be the biggest of the lot here on Tajani to come on lap 24 to lap 25. We will just check if the AlphaTauri will complete this overtake. Merck also is challenging and closing in on Santi. And now, this is the chance that Hazer needs on the straight. Through now into turn 2. Hazer takes second place away from Tajani. Tajani has lost out and Hazer onto the front row once more. not been there since the start of the race. Jack has retired in the pit lane. That will be no safety car. Santi also taking Merck and up into the top 5. Mr. Perm is closing that gap now towards Merck. But there you go. The Williams stays ahead and into 6th place then. As Link's piece now up into the top 10. But you're still some 20 seconds away from hybrid in the Aston Martin. But there you go. Pesci is flying through though. There's nobody who could challenge him unless Hazer can catch up on these mediums. But Hazer has not ran away from Tajani or Bolt. They may have to try and work together here, the AlphaTauris, to try and ensure they do finish ahead of Tajani. And it could be a double AlphaTauri podium for Hazer and Russell Bolt. I've got to say Bolt's had a very good performance. Then again, all of these top 4 drivers could be the ones in that driver of the day shout, you know. For me, Pesci's been super consistent and is up the front of the field, missed out on the win in the sprint. Got pole, but also looks like he's going to run away with the win here in the main event. Hazer, well, he did get the sprint win. Got second in qualifying, as he has just been overtaken by Tajani as well. But yeah, second in qualifying, got the sprint win. Did Hazer, pipping Pesci at the end with some brilliant defending, but also Hazer lost his front wing earlier in this race. Must have been, I'd like to say around lap 5 or 6 maybe. He was battling then with Pesci. He was directly behind Pesci at this point, so I don't know if they were battling each other at that point, but they were very close to each other. And Hazer lost his wing. There was a virtual safety car, but not a full safety car. And Hazer dropped down to the back of the field, near enough. A couple of drivers were behind him. But since then, he has recovered extremely strongly. But Tajani is still the car ahead of him. The 2 AlphaTauris then chasing down the Alpine of Tajani, who will come home the final place in that 2nd place. Will it be the Dutchman? Will it be Hazer? Or will it be the Lithuanian in the form of Russell Bolt? Let's find out then on the straight. Bolt, meanwhile, are those hard tyres working better than the mediums? Because Hazer and Bolt getting very close there towards Hazer, but not making a move. But Hazer, though, will make a move around the outside, and Hazer gets the move around the outside of Tajani. Tajani not defending that one too hard, and through goes the AlphaTauri of Hazer then. Disappointed with wheel. Yeah, there's been some iffy moments, no doubt about it. Some good racing, some have been iffy. Again, I always find Imola as one of those tracks where do you really want to go side by side anywhere except on the straight? You know what I mean? It's just one of those tracks where it is narrow. And at turn 2 even at turn 2 it's unbelievably difficult to go side by side at turn 2. You'd think it's easy, but it's really not. It does often cause incidents going into turn 2. And when you hear me say turn 2, you might be thinking turn 2 is the second part of the corner. No, it's the first part. Reason why? This is considered as turn 1. That bend there is turn 1. This corner here that we're leading up to right now is turn 2. There you go. But as you can see, the 2 AlphaTauris are just staying put at the moment, relatively happy with their positions as Mr. Perm takes Merck and into 5th place. Issue is for Merck, really. He's going to struggle with that penalty that he has, 3 seconds, and he will lose both of these places to both Judge Santi and Coffey at this rate. And on soft tyres, it has really not been the race that Merck wanted. Let's go back up then. Tajani beginning to build a little bit of a gap. I'll say that, it's only half a second. But it's a bigger gap than the gap between the 2 AlphaTauri drivers, Hazer and Russell Bolt. I'll say that now. As Russell Bolt did go half a second back, but again, he's closed it again. So here we go. Let's see if Hazer will decide to make the move on the Alpine, or will he just decide, you know what, I'm going to stay behind the Alpine and save his battery. mean, for me, I'm saving my battery with these few laps to go. You know, the race is not won on this lap, but then again, if you want to secure a double podium, may have to go for the move, and Hazer does make the move, and Bolt is trying to draw side by side as well, and there you go. That's how they take turns 2 and 3 better. They do go side by side, and there is no contact between Tajani or Bolt. Tajani stays ahead and stays in the top 3. That's better side by side action, and there you go. That is what Tajani and Russell Bolt just did. So well done to both of those drivers on their side by side driving on laps run through into 2 and 3. Back with Tajani. At the moment, I mean, the battle behind is still going on. Merck, Poem, Santi and Coffee. It is a 4-way battle, but again, Merck, that 3-second penalty will certainly lose out. Let's see here when the Alpine will make the move on Hazer. I'm pretty certain he will. But what will Bolt do? I mean, Bolt does not want to overtake his teammate, I don't think, but he does want to overtake Tajani. So he's a bit in two minds at the moment. And now Tajani will definitely take Hazer. Bolt will stay in there further behind. He will not go for the overtake. Good drive in this from Russell Bolt, I've got to say. All of those in the top 4 have done tremendously well. And for me, they are probably the 4 who I would put in for the driver of the day at the moment. I mean, Pesci is, well, he's been dominant in the race since Hazer's big mistake. I say mistake. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if there was any contact between the duo, but I was presuming it was a Hazer error. But Hazer has recovered very strongly to get back onto a potential podium, potential second place. I had to overtake several cars on the run through into getting up there onto the podium. Tajani, brilliant race from him. Second place on the cards for the Alpine. And Russell Bolt, again, he's just been consistent here. He's always been up there. Could be higher if it weren't for really allowing his teammate to really get those places. But P4 would still be a good result for Russell Bolt. Good results for both AlphaTauris, in fact. Although Hazer will be disappointed if he doesn't get a top 2 finish here. And further back as well, we got Merck and Coffee also with 3 seconds. So Coffee just picking up that penalty now. So Merck has now got somebody to try and finish ahead of. And that is definitely going to be the Alpine. And here comes Hazer with a move round the outside of Tajani. It's raining! Rain has arrived! Rain has arrived! I just saw it! There you go! The rain has hit us! It's hit us! The rain from the qualifying session is here on lap 31! Incredible! I mean, it's taken a long time, but it's arrived. I didn't know it was going to arrive, but it has arrived. And now, will any driver struggle, or will any driver take full advantage of this wet weather? I say wet weather. I mean, it's going to be slippery. It will be slippery for all of these drivers. Who can navigate it best? Well, Hazer is doing a very good job at it. 0.8 of a second, 0.9 of a second ahead of Tajani. Tajani is not going to take that place. Tajani may be struggling just to keep Bolt at bay. But you certainly think now, there's no doubt who will come away with the win, barring an incredible mistake, a dramatic mistake. Pesci will kickstart lap 32 with a 7-second lead. He does not need to push. Let's make that clear. He does not need to push on this lap. Hazer, absolutely brilliant comeback drive to come through in second place. But again, he's got to finish this lap. But second place looks likely. Bolt takes Tajani! What a brilliant move! And Bolt is on the podium. Tajani has to get it back, for the AlphaTauris are in 2 and 3 at the moment. A revelation of a performance from both the AlphaTauri drivers, and up into second and third they strive. And further back, Poem also will take the place of Merck due to Merck's time penalty. Judge Santi, however, will also take the place of the Williams and will get up into 6th position. Absolute drama here late on. Tajani still trying to push forward towards Rusted Bolt, who will come home with the final place on the podium. It's a battle between the AlphaTauri and the Alpine, but there is no doubting who will come away with the race win here this evening. because it will certainly be all. Bolt goes a bit wide. That gives Tajani a chance. Is Tajani going to go for this little move here? I'm going to have to stick on. I don't think he has to move. No, he doesn't. We're going to go to the winner. Pesci wins again. I mean, he obviously did that knowing that we weren't on board with him, clearly. No, I'm joking. But anyways, Pesci wins again. Great drive from him. Hazer with a superb P2. Bolt wraps up an AlphaTauri double podium. Pipping to Jardy over the line. Merck comes home in that P5, but he will lose both places to Poem and Santi, who take P5 and P6. Merck P7, Coffee P8, Hybrid P9, and sadly for Link's PC is down in P10. Looks like he was trying to push for fast lap. Just have a little check of who got the fastest lap. And in fact, it is Link's piece, a 1:17.0. He takes it away from Hazer. So Link's piece will come away with the 10th place. Still a top 10 finish, still some decent points. 11 points here in the race for the Red Bull driver, excluding any potential penalties. Then again, he could be at risk as well himself, but he goes through. We'll go on board with Pesci, who wins again, this time at the Imola Grand Prix. There you go, another victory this season then for the McLaren. Those two at the front again, Pesci and Hazer. They are running away with this championship now. Link's Pizza still has a chance, but that top two are looking near enough impeccable, if it's completely honest. If we're completely honest, rather. Yeah, absolutely superb stuff. Anyways, watching the podium celebrations, one McLaren, two AlphaTauris, but it is the McLaren on top of the world here. And another big victory for their championship chances. There you go, Pesci going through then. And as you can see, done a great job in the sprint, just missing out. He got pole in quali as well. But we can go through the full results for you in the sprint. Hazer pipping Pesci by 3.5 tenths. In the race, however, it was all down to Pesci, but Hazer, though, if he didn't have that front wing damage, it would have been a cracking two-way battle for the win between Pesci and Hazer, I am sure. Either way, though, that is your 1 and 2. Hazer with a two-stop strategy as well to get P2. Rusted Bolt, Tajani coming through in P4. Mr. Poem, Santi, Merck, Coffee Hybrid, and Lynx, your final finisher in the top 10, also clinching a final, the final lap point. Forgetting fastest lap. Anyways, let's go to the instant screen, and there are quite a few, so we will have to go quickly through these. And there you go. But there you go. That has been your race here at Imola. Pesci beating off Hazer to getting the victory. Mushroom Man is on top. Mushroom Man Pesh, of course. Hazer with a solid outing in P2. Gotta say, that championship battle surely is going to go to the wire. I mean, Link's Piece would like to be in there himself, and you can't exactly officially rule him out. He's still got a chance, but he needs to pick up some big results over the coming weeks, you imagine. And how you could do that when you've got two drivers like Hazer and Pesci. Best of luck. Anyways, I thank you very much for watching this one tonight. I have been UFRL Viva, we have been UFRL, and that's been your Tier 1 race at Imola. Let's have a look forward to what we have coming up this week. So at Tier 2, the Tier 2 race, I should know this by now. I'm pretty sure I do know this, but I do want to have a quick reminder. I should know it. Alright, Tier 2, yeah, there you go. It's at Mexico. I was talking about a long straight earlier, wasn't I? And Mexico is the one for Tier 2. And that is going to be the race tomorrow night then, 8 o'clock PM. Tier 3, 8 o'clock PM as well, Wednesday night, will be at Canada. Well, you can imagine some track limit penalties at the Canadian Grand Prix for Tier 3. 100% tier, Friday night, 8 o'clock PM, and that will be at Paul Ricard at France. So that will be where the drivers will be heading off to in the realistic cars. And then in the international tier, and it will be on Saturday night, 9 o'clock PM rather, and that will be at Monaco. Oh, big race that one. Kind of look forward to it. Not sure if I want to be starting last in that one, I'm not going to lie. But either way, Monaco it will be. Anyways, that has been our race tonight. Thank you very much, everybody, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. And I hope you all have a splendid evening. And thank you for the late raid for Tijani as well. But either way, that has been your racing at Imola. I'll be back tomorrow night at Mexico for Tier 2.